All right, folks, we think we've got the microphone situation fixed. Situated this situation.
Is this right?
So,
A sound check?
This is test one, two. So if you are watching and you notice the mics, you can't hear Michelle or you can't hear me, please let me know. Then I can do some audio fixes behind the scenes. But as far as that goes, welcome to Networking in the 417. This is Run Radio Presents Inspiring New Growth with Trina and
Michelle.
You're
I'll
Michelle
be
today.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank
You've
you.
been busy.
I skipped out.
You had, well, that's okay. You were doing networking things.
I was doing a networking
which is very
thing.
important. And then before that, we haven't got to catch up about the concert yet.
And you were ill.
And I was sick before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just had a busy, complicated spring.
It has been already a busy, complicated spring. Hold on, I'm going to angle this a little bit.
Adjust it. If you're watching,
that's better.
Please give us a hello. Tell us what chapter you are affiliated with, what your business is. If you have something going on that you want us to shout out, we will.
Yeah, I felt like I was over on the side, like I was going to.
Peeking.
Yeah. No, it feels like it's been forever.
It does, but
right?
We're back at it. We're going strong.
Yeah, you asked me.
Everyone's fighting allergies or colds or something.
The pollen count. Let's talk about the pollen count. Gosh. Let's not.
Midwest without saying you're.
Yeah, say you're in the Midwest without saying you're in the Midwest. This is what my husband used to say, that we go on vacation, like a driving vacation, and as soon as we would cross the Missouri state line, his head would get all congested.
Oh, when you come back.
Yeah, when you come back. Yeah. As soon as you leave, you can breathe. Yeah. We're our own little allergy central here. So
yeah, for sure. So what's been going on? Anything to update us on?
Well, the concert was great.
Good.
It was wonderful. Big shout out to everybody who was involved. I think we had like 20 sponsor tables, 20 vendor tables. We had lots of sponsors. It was absolutely fabulous. And it's looking like our number is almost to 7,000.
Very good.
Yeah. Good. So that's at least one big wish or two. Sometimes that could be two wishes. On average, they're 10,000 each, but then there are kids who ask for smaller things or more specific things that they want. And so they do that for them. So,
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that was exciting. And then, went to Arts Fest.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes. This is the first time I've been in years. I don't know why. You know how you just get out of the habit of doing something?
Yeah. I love it every time. And then I'm always like, oh, I missed it for some reason.
For some reason, I think I'm usually like out of town that weekend or something, visiting family. But I was here, went with my kids and my grandson, and it was so fun to see all of the talent.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much talent here in the 417. It's just incredible to me. So I did that. What have you been up to?
I've just been busy, and I'm not sure, like, my thing the past couple of weeks, every time, I swear the universe knows when I have a hole in my calendar where I think, I can rest here and catch my breath.
And it fills it.
Here comes something like, hey, can you hop on a call? Hey, I'm just like,
yeah.
No, it's not the fault of the person asking. They don't know, but in my mind, I'm going, I explode.
Yeah. Here I had 1 minute to breathe.
Yeah.
Self-care is really super important too.
Well, in fact, I was talking to someone else who said that they've said no more this past few weeks to projects and stuff than they ever had. And I thought that was very, actually, that's kind of wisdom that you learn, is when to say no and where you can't. Some of those things, though, you just can't because they're situational and they're because you're preparing for things coming up.
Exactly.
But it is tough to deal with those moments where you're getting smothered.
Especially as entrepreneurs.
Yes.
That is our small business owners, entrepreneurs, independent people. It is really tough because sometimes opportunities present themselves and it's in our nature to just jump. And sometimes we have to stop and think, does that serve me? Mm-hmm. And, that's a tough one. But it's something I've learned in networking. It's watching other people handle their calendar, balance their time.
Yeah.
And not just say yes. Yes, you should say yes to opportunities. Yeah. There's a movie, a Yes Day. There's a movie out there where you say yes to everything. Yeah. Yeah. And while that can be great, sometimes no is equally powerful because you're opening the door for something else.
Right. Or just that rest that you need so you can be stronger when you do, it comes back around. Or there's also a power in no, not then, but how about this?
Yes,
absolutely. You can propose an alternative time or something like that too. You don't have to say yes at the most convenient time for me,
Well, I was just having that conversation with somebody about, actually about networking, and, the comment was made that the person didn't have as much time to network, or they don't have as much control over their schedule. And I responded with, I used to think that too. However, to me, networking is, I consider it a part of marketing my business, building my business, supporting my business. Weekly meetings for me are like a group meeting with my team.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people, forget that part of it. My favorite is, oh, well, I've grown so much. I don't have time to network. I have watched that happen with people too, where, their business has exploded and they're really overwhelmed, which is understandable. That's not a judgment. It's just that they quit networking, but then when their leads and referrals don't keep coming, or sometimes they hold themselves back from growth. And so I think it's super important to continue your networking in some way. You might have to change the chapter that you're in, or you might have, for a time of day or things like that. But being too big to network is, in my brain, not really a thing. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think of that?
Oh, I think it's a very good question because I've known some folks too. Same thing. They've gotten to the point where they're like, this networking group has helped me so much. Now I need to step back. And I do think, to even another perspective of it, like you were saying, it's kind of your team, not having that connection with your team, you kind of get stuck in your, like for me, for example, I'd be at the computer, at the computer, microphone, and I need to break away from that.
Absolutely.
I need to connect with other people, have different conversations, do some other things, or you're just, stuck in your own office space, and that's not healthy either, I don't think.
Well, I agree with that 100%. And then the other side of that multidimensional question is, I feel like I have to support my team as well. So yes, you're in networking to build your business. Yes, it should serve you in the way that it needs to, but also it's reciprocal. And so what I stopped to think, sometimes when I'm even at my busiest, I have to change my thought process to, I get to go to my networking meeting today. I get the opportunity to network, and I don't just network for me. Yes, my business is important, but the idea behind networking is to connect each other to the people we know. So if I build my business like that, and then I leave because my business has grown and I've got what I needed, or at least that's how people see it, then I think that I get it. Sometimes leaving might be the answer, but for a lot of people, what they really need to do is come up with a new solution to be there. Whether that is, bringing on somebody who can go specifically for you
as a representative,
as your marketing person, as your networking person. There are options to it, but to just not do it, can actually affect you in the long run and the people in your group.
Because you work so hard to build those relationships.
Exactly.
Exactly. I like hearing the other solutions. Like you said, maybe hire somebody. If somebody has come up against this and you've got a solution to share, I'd like to know some of those, because I get that a lot of us are just the only person doing it all, wearing all the hats. They don't have the luxury to send someone else from the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, like you said, an option is picking a different group, but a time that meets or something like that's one option. I think throwing out some solutions to help people keep marketing, networking is a really good idea.
Yes, most definitely. I think talking to the people in your networking group, and I get it. I've been a solopreneur for basically my entire career. However, when I first started networking, I met somebody. Oh, hey, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
I met someone, in networking. She was networking for, a business here in town, and that was that's what she did. That was her job. It was extra money for her to pick up. And she was a full-fledged representative of this company, but it was a solopreneur.
Yeah.
And, she, had gotten so many clients that she herself had to take care of those clients. That was her job. So she hired somebody to do her networking. And this young woman's job was to go to the networking groups, go to any networking opportunity, do vendor events, and she got paid per event that she did. And I thought that was brilliant because then everybody got to know this representative from the company. And that was her job, was to connect people. And then also she connected everybody to her boss and to the establishment. And she brought those clients to other people. So it was employing someone, but more like, more like, employing someone and growing your business multifaceted. Not just that you have so many clients, but this was, a young woman who had a child and wanted to do a work from home job, but this worked in her schedule and it got her out of the house to go do things. So she really just wanted a side gig and it was perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
So there's so many valuable aspects of networking, and the ins and outs are pretty cool to learn as you dive in and get to know different people, what they do and how creative everybody is.
There really is. There really is. Oh, you know what we didn't say?
I know.
We're here.
At Vino.
Yeah, we're here at Vino Cellars. Oh, I just noticed they got new plants.
I think they've done some other upgrades too around here.
I see. It's really looking for plants up there. Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome. The greenery about.
Yeah.
Yes, we are here at Vino. And the thing they have going on all of the time right now is the Wine Flight boarding pass. I know Jerry's probably getting really excited about that. Basically what it is you do a flight of 4 wines. There's an entire wall that goes all the way down, and some in the back. You choose 4 wines that you would like to try, and that's your flight. And then you get 10% off of any take-home bottle that you choose of those wines. So that's a good deal. I think that's pretty amazing. Love the atmosphere here.
Jerry asked a question. Is it important to set a time in your schedule to network?
Oh, yes, it is. And I will mention that right after we talk about Vino. That's a great question.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Make sure we
I know. I'm glad you did see it. I never see. I can't see it sometimes. Yeah. So if we don't see you, we're not ignoring you.
No,
so,
not at all.
But yeah, Vino is a fun little place to come. I came in, I guess it was the week after the concert. I came in because I, had work to do and I just wanted somewhere quiet and relaxing to work. And I passed a pleasant hour here with a glass of wine and some, pretzel sticks. And I really highly recommend it. They have, nice tables, nice couches. You can come chairs. You could come in here and just sit and relax during the day. And it's just a nice vibe.
Yeah, it is a good.
So I did that. Cool. So we want to thank Vino for letting us come in every Tuesday and hang out. All right. Score. That's what she said. Score. Yeah. You got to come get the Wine Flight boarding pass, Jer. All right. So, the question, is it important to schedule your networking in? I think yes.
I think so. I mean, most of them have set scheduled meetings. So why would you not?
Yeah. And it's super important. This was another discussion I was just having with someone. You have to treat it as a part of your business, not something extra that you do. So I think maybe that's what Jerry was asking. Yeah, they have great food too here. I do think that's what Jerry was asking is, should it be a part of the schedule that you create for yourself?
Yeah. I see.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so if your meeting happens every Thursday morning at 9, like yours does, then that becomes a part of your schedule. So you can usually schedule your clients around it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't, but generally if somebody's setting up an appointment with you and you say, I'm not available on Thursday mornings from 9 to 10:30 or 8:30 to 10:30 before or after, that's fine. Very rarely will you run into someone who says, no, that's the only time I can meet.
Right.
So you have to include networking as a structured part of your, almost like your business plan.
Yeah. I think it's really important too for if you are a new entrepreneur, it's okay. That is not goof off time. It is part of your work schedule. When you go from being in an office, working for someone else for 8+ hours a day, it is different. When you have everything that is in front of you is all up to you. And I think it's important for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs to know that it's going to look different and that's okay.
Right.
You're going to have bursts where you work hours on end and then you're going to have down creative time and that's okay. It's because it was perplexing to me at first. I thought I needed to fill every minute.
Yes,
like,
every day.
Yeah, and it's just not like that. It's so
like
different.
you had to go across the hall and work 8 to 5 in your office. Yes. I remember that.
It was so weird, and I was confused. Like, I'm a very structured person. I have lists, and I'm like, I know that I'm not lazy, but why am I having trouble trying to figure out all of this stuff?
Exactly. Well, and I was a teacher when I stopped teaching and went into that solopreneur atmosphere. And I did the same thing. I mean, you're on a structured schedule from August until May as a teacher. And sometimes in the summer, if you teach summer school or you have year-round school. So yeah, it was very structured. And I would find myself doing the same thing, thinking I had to work all the time. That's kind of a myth of entrepreneurship. Is if you just work hard, and you keep working hard. I'm a big proponent of work smarter, not harder.
Me too.
So example would be, I again was talking to a potential client and she was talking about cold calling. And I said, well, instead of cold calling, what if you could every week sit in a room full of people who could give you stronger referrals than a cold call? Because I know that, from my own experience, 1 in every 12 people are going to be a yes or a maybe. If you're cold calling or you're just meeting, if you're at a vendor event and people fill out those little forms that you contact information, it's 1 in 12 and could be 1 in 20 sometimes of people who actually are interested. However, in the world of networking, when you're building those relationships, then even if you only get 2 referrals a week from your group, those are strong referrals and they're probably going to be closed business. And if you are calling 20 people and only 1 of them is a maybe, that's, when you sit down and really think about it, it's not a good measurement. And that was something else too. Somebody, when I was having this discussion, chimed in and said, well, my appointments are at the mercy of other people. For example, it takes a group of people to make this happen. And my response was, but are you honoring your time by not telling them that you can't do it at that one day, at that one time, because you have a set meeting. And you're right. I think that's really hard for new entrepreneurs because, it's hard to get that 8 to 4, 9 to 5 schedule out of their head.
And there's something about being in a room full of people that get it and that can it invigorates you. It makes you feel understood and seen. So you are more productive when you go back.
Well, exactly. And I think,
Jerry says networking is worth its weight in gold no matter what networking group you are in.
It is. That is 100% true. And, I equate it to this too. You know, when you go to when you have a set networking group that you go to, whether that's an open networking group, it's an industry exclusive group that you meet with. When you do that and you build those relationships, you can, and I have done this personally, so I can speak from it. I can either sit down with a list of people that I've maybe gotten at vendor events or something like that and do cold calling, or I can go to my networking meeting that week and I can say, all right, guys, this is where I need your help. I'm looking for 5 people who fit this category. And it's always amazing to me that boom, 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 in one networking meeting, I'll have connected with those 5 people in some way, shape, or form when I could have spent hours on the phone calling this big long list of people. So I think that's a shift in the way that we see things and in the dynamic that is out there. So,
well, we have a guest today.
We do.
Get her take on networking and see how it's changed her business structure.
Absolutely.
And she is in the
Amigos
chapter.
She's in the Amigos chapter. Yeah. Little tidbit of a secret. I've known her for almost 40 years.
Woo!
We were like 5. No.
I would have believed it.
Yeah. No, it's not even true. We met in college. So, yes. And she's had a plethora of different types of jobs that she's been in. So I'm excited to have her come on and talk about not just what she does, but how networking really
has made a difference.
Gave that. Started it for her.
All right. Jerry says, I'm so proud of ING.
We are proud of ING too. We're very proud to be a part of it. So for those of you who don't know, Jerry, who's commenting, is the CEO of ING. She is the founder. She is the mama of ING. Bear. She really is. And it was her concept, to build it into what it is today. And that is huge because, ING is all about the members, the people, the connections, and really kind of a servant heart. What can we do for each other? Yeah. And I love that.
Well, and I know a lot of people love that we give back to charity. And so that's always a nice asset when you're with a group of people that love to give back to the community and support each other. So
absolutely.
It's a cool concept. Yeah. And we hope that there are people out there that will come check it out, visit a chapter if you're not already a member. And if you are a member, invite somebody new to come in and
tell them
see what it's all about.
Or tell them to tune into our live because surely when they see us, they're going to rush to a chapter. I know. That's what's going to happen.
All right. So I'm excited to talk to Karla. So if we want to pass the mic or you want to squeeze on in, either way you want to do it.
Whichever way.
You can share the mic and just stay or you could step out, whatever.
I'll let her have the mic. Let's give her the mic. You think, or do you think she's going to be close enough to me that we can hear her?
You just close enough.
Oh, okay.
Just lean over and talk.
Just talk into my chest, Karla. Just talk into my cleavage. It's okay. All right.
Right here. Sherry says she cleans the bathrooms.
I can lean and talk.
You can lean. Dunlap, the 417 Pet Nanny. Woo! How long have you been pet sitting?
Well, unofficially for 20 plus years, but as a business, a year and a half.
When did you decide to take that passion and turn it into a business?
It was January of last year.
Really? Okay, that's right. It's not been that long. It feels, I feel like I've been tagging you for a long time.
I know, right? Yeah.
But, okay, so you love all animals.
Oh, yeah.
I love dog's number one, and then all other animals number two. But so when you get that call to take care of a tarantula, are you really excited about that?
Well, that's kind of where I draw the line.
There's a song about that. I don't like spiders and snakes.
Because I have been asked to take care of a tarantula, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Quick story. I have a friend that has done pet sitting, and she needs help occasionally. This was years ago. Mm-hmm. So she asked for me to pop in to this house that had a bird. This bird didn't like red and other colors you weren't supposed to wear.
Oh, no.
Whatever the case was, it was either me or my husband got blood drawn from this bird. So it's hard and they're temperamental. I don't know, as much as I love animals, I would be a little bit wary of going in and taking care of someone else's pet. So how do you handle that?
Well, I have a consultation before I ever come in to take care of your animals. So the consultation is where I meet you as the pet owner. I meet your pet. We go through the schedule, feeding, any special little commands, because not everybody does the same commands.
What colors you can't wear.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. If there's medicine to give, then if you show me how, I can give medicine. I've had a client where they have one of those pill shooter things that you just stick it in their mouth. And then I've had other clients where you got to pry the mouth open and stick the pill in. So I'm not afraid of any of that. So
I finally got the pill pockets. I got tired of trying to poke that down my dog, Max. He just would.
Yeah.
Not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So you make sure you do a thorough meet and greet with the animal.
Yeah. It usually takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah. Sometimes if we really get along, I'll stay longer than an hour because once I meet the pets, it's hard for me to leave.
Yeah.
Because I just love them.
Yeah.
So
what if someone's looking for someone to take care of their animal? What's your lead time? Can you usually drop and go at, 3 days notice, or do you need a week or two to plan?
Well, sometimes I can do 2 or 3 days notice. It just depends on how busy my schedule is. This month, I'm booked pretty much solid. I think I had 5 days this month where I didn't work or where I'm not working. And so I've had people call and go, hey, can you watch my pets on the 17th? And I'm like, no, I'm already booked.
Yeah.
But then sometimes if it's a slow month, you can do that. So it's just kind of a hit and miss but there are more busy months than there are.
And do you stay overnight? Do you just pop in for walks, or is that something you work out with the owners?
Yeah, that's something I work out with the owners. I prefer to stay the night.
Okay.
Just because I think it's easier on the animal. It's easier on me too, because once I'm there with your animal, I don't like to leave.
Yeah.
Because I get very attached very quickly.
Yeah.
So you started your business last January. So I know the answer to this, but I think that our audience will want to know this. Did you start networking first? Did you visit the networking group first, or did you start your business first?
I visited the networking groups first.
Okay.
And I went to pretty much every one that ING had, and then another networking group that I'm a part of.
You can say.
I went, CBC.
Yeah.
And I went to just meeting after meeting any day of the week that I could go. And because every group is different. And I wanted to find the right group that I fit into.
So you started networking before you had a business.
Yes.
So I guess my question for everybody to have you answer is, did you start networking because you were hoping to start a business or find a job, or what is it that you were doing? Cause you had a job.
I had a job.
And you were let go. And so you were looking for something else. And so I invited her to come networking with, I invited her to come networking with me because I was like, somebody probably has a job if you're wanting to do a job, or maybe you can find a niche for a business for yourself.
Yeah. Basically what I was I put some feelers out, cause I've worked in childcare, all of my life until just recently. And, I've been a nanny, I've been a teacher's aide, I've been a preschool teacher. So I was kind of putting fillers out about would someone need like kind of like a personal assistant to help with childcare? Or did I want to go pet sitting because I had been doing that for so long? And so I was just kind of putting feelers out, and it seemed to be people were needing more of the pet sitter thing than the assistant. So that's kind of where I went with pet sitting.
So,
and I love animals.
Yeah.
So for helping you decide on a business, from helping you decide on a business to where you are now, what role did networking play in that for you?
Oh gosh. I honestly wouldn't be where I am without the networking groups. I would say a good 90% of my business comes from networking.
Yeah.
Because if I was on my own, I wouldn't know how to get out there and get my name out there. I would be like totally lost. And that is the one thing that network has helped me do is, putting up a website, getting flyers out, making business cards. I wouldn't have known how to do any of that without my networking family.
Yeah.
So they really helped you from the ground up.
From the ground up.
Yeah.
From the ground
Great
up.
to know.
To a May that is
because I'm
so
kind of an introvert in a way.
Yeah.
And I would have never gotten myself out
Out
there
of that comfort
without networking.
Yeah.
Jerry says she figures you fall in love with all the animals and want to take them home with you.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave. Yeah.
She gets attached.
It's very hard.
So networking, I love this story because this is the perfect example of what networking does. And so you intentionally make time in your schedule, even if you have a client on Fridays, you're up front, or on Thursdays when your meeting is, you're very upfront with them that this is a meeting that you go to.
Yes. Yeah. I always make sure with any family that I meet with, I make sure it's okay. Like I always say, I have a meeting on Thursdays at 11:30 that I have to go to. Well, I don't always say I have to go to, that I want to go to.
Yes.
It's part of my business is what I tell them. And they've all been, yeah, sure, that's fine. Our dogs, we leave to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're sometimes home alone. And that's more than fine. So, but I always check with the families and make sure it's okay. Cause there is a couple of families where their dogs don't do well being left alone. Yeah. So I have to figure something out with that. Or, there was a job where I was in Seymour and, it was kind of far to drive. Yeah. So I just found a sub for me, but I've only missed like a couple meetings in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So aside of the connections with like referrals and building your business, what are some other happy perks that you've noticed and taken away from networking?
Well, it's really like helped me like there again with a website. I wouldn't know how to do that. So in networking, there are people who do help you with websites. So I get in touch with them. Or there's people that help make the shirts. Yeah. And because I wouldn't know how to make my 417 Pet Nanny shirt. So there are people like that I can go to. And it not necessarily in my group, but I know enough people in other groups that I can get in touch with somebody to help me out.
So on a business level, but also would you say that networking has changed your world on a personal level?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not an extrovert, so to say, but I do get out there more than I used to. Yeah. Because even with my childcare experience, I would go into people's homes and then go back home, or I'd go to my job and go back home. Yeah. So yeah, this gets me out and about and actually talking to people.
Yeah.
So it's making me a little bit more of an extrovert than I normally am. So,
And you've just met a lot of people in the community that you wouldn't have known otherwise.
Oh yeah.
You have a lot more friends, you think?
Oh yeah.
I know that happened for me. That's why I'm asking that is, not only do I have more friends, but the friends I have understand. They understand me. They understand building a business, those kinds of things. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what's a takeaway that we could learn about pet sitting that we might not know unless we talk to someone that does it?
Mhm.
What is something that, even maybe you learned once it became your full-time business?
I would say it's just, how many, so I've never worked with Rottweilers.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that they're super friendly and lovable. And, you
Yeah.
always hear these horror stories. Well, not horror stories. That's a horrible word to say. Bad stories. How they can be really just, one person kind of dog. And, that client, I actually did like 4 or 5 meet and greets.
Okay.
Just to kind of get me to be around their pets, their 2 Rottweilers they had. And also, how many pets are really affected by their background.
Yeah.
I think that surprised me the most because, like with these Rottweilers, they came from a really bad situation before this couple adopted them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took a lot of time with me getting to know the Rottweilers. And one of them, it's so funny because one of his things that he does is he likes to go through your legs. And they're like, if he goes through your legs, then you're in.
Oh,
because that's his way
of
trust you.
playing with you, letting you, And it's so funny because I'm short and his parents aren't. So the first time he went to go through my legs, I was kind of
got
riding him.
Yeah, I was like, it's like, hey, this is like a little horse.
That's a great picture.
So big.
That is so funny.
And so I let the family know. I was like, he went into my legs.
I love that. So it's about the dogs, not the breed.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
It's very much about the dogs and the owners and not the breed.
The owners, yes.
Mhm.
Because I've met super sweet dogs that I've dealt with many times. And this one owner didn't, not necessarily not have training, but didn't really follow through.
Yeah.
And so it was just he just had a lot of energy and just didn't know how to calm down. And no matter what kind of commands I use, he just, he was just
I'm sorry I tried to
and-
get her to do what I needed her to. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
She wasn't really talking about me, but our dog Millie has been through, my daughter's dog has been through lots and lots of training, and man, it's been we got to be hard nosed on that training.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but she's improved, so dogs can improve and they can be better with the right treatment.
And when I'm there, if there is training that you do, then I have you show me. And then I follow through with what you do.
Mm-hmm. That's very important.
Then the dog doesn't get confused.
Yeah. Because I know some people like sit, stay, or lay down. They're all they're interchangeable to us. But the dog knows
a certain
their
command.
language. So well, that's good. Where can people go to connect with you and find out more about how to schedule?
Well, I have a Facebook page. If you type in Pet Nanny Karla with a K, it'll take you to my Facebook page. I have a cute little Boston Terrier as my profile picture.
Okay.
And I also have a website, 417petnanny.com, that you can go to. And then that has my phone number on it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Come back anytime.
I enjoyed it.
Wasn't scary at all.
No, it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. So.
We're not that bad.
Well, now you have to do a little song and dance. So
she's kidding.
No, really. Well, Karla's been watching my dogs for a couple decades now. And she is phenomenal. And her heart for pets is just incredible. And I say dogs, I have guinea pigs and fish as well. Yeah.
I've seen your fish. I saw the guinea pigs.
We have fish. Yeah. We have Molly. Well, my daughter has Mollies and Platties. So, but no, we have guinea pigs and she takes care of them. Birds. You've done birds.
I watched lizards.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had a bearded dragon.
Did you say that the line was the spiders? Is that where you got the line?
Spiders and snakes.
Spiders and snakes. No, spiders and I have.
If they have 8 legs or they slither.
I have actually watched this snake. Well, I didn't personally watch. I was watching the kids, and they had a snake and birds. And I took care of the birds, and then the older daughter took care of the snake. So I was like, as long as it doesn't come out of its little aquarium thing.
It just makes me think about there's an episode of the show 911 where the guy takes the job. he thinks he's going to sit for dogs, and it turns out to be tarantulas, and the person has tanks and tanks and tanks in them, and mentions that one of them got loose. And the 911 call is because it's the owner. He can't reach the guy who's taking care of the tarantulas or spiders, whatever kind they are. And the ones that got loose got on him in the night and built their nest. So you're talking about them the whole time, and I'm sitting here going, it was such a horrible episode to watch. Now I have arachnophobia.
Yes.
I think another important thing people might not realize is to start the relationship with a potential pet sitter before it's a last minute thing. Because a lot of times things happen where, for me, my parents are usually the ones that take care of our dogs when we're busy or out of town. But should that happen, then I'm in a pickle. Right. So I think it's a good idea to make sure you've got those relationships in place. So when something does come up, it's not a last minute scramble or they're unfamiliar with who's taking
and that also gives me time to come and meet with you and your animals. So.
I'm just pulling up a couple things on here that are going on.
Let us know.
Let's see. I know that Elise Ellis is having a ladies' night here. It's open to ladies. Come on in to Vino. I think 5:30 maybe, something like that. I'll have to find the time. Just come into Vino and socialize. It's not anything formal. It's just being social. Italian Kitchen's having their tiramisu class. I don't know if there are any more openings for that. I guess you could
I would
check it out. Yeah. But he has classes, all kinds of cooking classes going on. And then also in the area, there are gigs in the garden every Sunday in May at the Botanical Center at Nathaniel Green. So the Springfield Botanical Gardens. So I'm looking
to see. The Lokovich Art Studio is doing their open house on the 17th.
That's right. I knew there was something like that. Yep. And there are, let's see, free concerts on Wednesday, free concerts at noon in Founders Park. So if you're downtown, you can go get your lunch and go listen to a concert.
There's also coming up, and I don't want to tell you the wrong date, but I'm going to be doing an interview with Amy from Ozarks Literacy Council. They're having a Splish Splash 5K event. It's an untimed fun run to raise funds for a great cause, the Literacy Council here in the Ozarks. So if you're interested in that, be watching for that to come up on Run It Studios.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to get out there right at the moment. I'm not seeing anything other than those few things. All right. I think.
Sounds good.
There's Bark in the Park.
Oh, Bark in the Park. All right.
On Saturday from 8 to 12, Bark in the Park at Phelps Grove Park.
Okay.
So that seems like an appropriate thing to
Sounds good.
to talk about, Bark in the Park. I knew there was something else that was in my head. So
you can always find out more about which networking groups are meeting and at what time when you go to inspiringsnewgrowth.com.
Yes.
And learn more that way. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or message us directly, and we will do our best to find out the answer for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I could get here.
And we will see you next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.